Alrighty guys, so moving onward and upward and over and to the side. Next is Cosmic Joe Triumphant, and he asks, have you ever seen an animal you couldn't figure out what it was, like Bigfoot, or have you seen UFOs? And if you haven't, just make something up. Well, I'll tell you a little story. Not necessarily an animal, but an insect. Yes, an insect. At one point in my life, I used to work as an armed security guard. And this one night, I'm posted at a condominium complex in Miami. And it had been raining. And I'd been making my rounds and then coming back and sitting in my car to stay out of the rain. And I was reading a book, and all of a sudden this is about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. All of a sudden I hear this thud. And I look into on the back of my car, and I look in my rearview mirror, and lo and behold, I see something kind of scooching down my back windshield. I had a hatchback, so the windshield was slanted. Anyway, I saw something kind of like just going like this, real slow down the window, almost sliding down it with the rain. And the darn thing was about the size of my hand, I kid you not. So I get out of my car, and I go to the back, and I heard the thing when it fell off the car, too. I heard the thud. Anyway, I walk around to the back of my car, and there's this thing, I swear to God, it looked like a gigantic cockroach. Now, here in Florida, we have these things called palmetto bugs. And if you're a Floridian, you just call them a cockroach, because that's pretty much what they look like. And these things are everywhere. I mean, I don't care how clean your house is. I don't care how often you spray insecticide. If you live in Florida, you will experience the joy of having a cockroach or / palmetto bug come into your house, or jump out of a box in your garage, or whatever. So anyway, this thing, I swear to God, is the size of my hand. And it's not moving very fast, so I pick up this big coral rock. I hate roaches, by the way. If I didn't say it already, I hate roaches. They can't technically hurt you physically, but they will make me hurt myself trying to get away from the suckers, and they fly towards you. Yes. When they get scared, they fly at you. Anyway, I get out, I see this thing on the ground, and I'm just like totally baffled and amazed and just freaking out. So I pick up this giant coral rock. And a coral rock is kind of a lightweight rock made of dried coral, if you don't know. That's what most of Miami is coral rock. Anyway, pick up this big coral rock, and I drop it on this critter, and the critter is still trying to walk away. He's not running, he's not skittering, he's just walking slowly away with the coral rock on his back. Anyway, as to whether that story is true or false, that story is absolutely true. I mean, if there's ever an alien critter in this world, that had to have been it. So, anywho, yeah, I found out later on that what those things are Cuban cockroaches. They're not really a roach, but they're called Cuban cockroaches. A lot of them got over here during the 80s boat lift flotilla. They call it the Mariel boat lift. I don't know, anybody who lived in Florida will know what I'm talking about. But in the 80s, Castro emptied his prisons and allowed a lot of other people who wanted to leave the island to leave. And South Miami got flooded with Cubans. And anyway, they brought along these Cuban cockroaches. And as I understand it now, Miami has a lot of them. But then they were a little further and fewer between, and nobody really were aware of them, as far as I know. Anyway, true story, true story, true story. All right, so next on my list. And here's another little playground, and we're coming up on Lake Apopka. Let me see what we got here. Okay, that's Cosmic Joe. Tony Suzuki Bergman asks, what software do I use to edit my videos? Well, Tony, number one, I hope your hand is doing better. Hope you're feeling better. The software I use for editing is Final Cut Pro X, or Final Cut 10. I'm not sure if they call it 10 or X, probably 10. Anywho, that is the software I use. It's about $300. It's available for the Mac solely. It's not for Windows. It's a little bit of an expensive program compared to some of the others, but that is what I use. Not that I do any kind of pro editing or anything like that, but I have a lot of fun with it. So anyway, Final Cut Pro 10. That's what I use to edit. And another question from my friend Vlog Tour. What happened to that intro with ink you used to have, and are you going to do a new one? So honestly, my videos have evolved. If you go back and look at some of my earliest videos, I had some god-awful videos with these intros that were just horrendous. I mean, just absolutely horrendous. And I kind of, over time, got to the point where I stopped putting intros on my videos. And occasionally I'll do a little logo, or I'll do a bit of an outro, something funny, hopefully. But as far as the ink and all that stuff, which I'm assuming you're talking about the one that's like the motion template, where it's like a black ink that's running everywhere as your intro plays. That, no, I'm probably not going to do anything like that again. Who knows, though? I mean, I'm kind of eclectic. I do whatever, whenever, right? I'm going to take a walk out on the pier, just kind of turning the thing around here. So the answer to you, I don't really care that much for intros. That's just not my thing, so I probably not. Hey, come on, get straight. All right. All right, another question from my friend Vlog Tour. Do another drinking video. That's not really a question, but it's more of a statement. And yes, sir, I will eventually do a drinking video. I'm well overdue to go out and have a few beers with my buddy John. When I do, I will take my camera and make sure I try to embarrass myself and him as much as possible for your amusement. So how's that, buddy? And how's your son doing with his motorbike lessons? Okay, so that is another topic. Takes a little explanation. Before my son got his learner's permit for the car, I would let him drive the scooter around, illegally drive it around the neighborhood, just so he could learn how to use it. When he turned 16, he got his car's learner permit, and I stopped letting him ride the scooter around because if he were to get stopped by the police, if something were to happen, it wouldn't just be me getting a ticket, but it would be a black mark on his record as a juvenile driver, and it would not only increase the insurance costs for me when he finally gets his full license, but it could impede him in getting his full license, which he hasn't got yet, and he's almost 18, mainly because I can't afford the damn insurance. My insurance is going to go up by about probably about $1,500 when I add him to our vehicles. But anyway, that's the answer to that. He has not been riding the bike. As soon as he gets his full license, I will let him get back on the scooter again, but not until then. Anyway, I hope that answers all the questions there, and another long video, which I'll probably try to chop up. Don't know. But anyway, thanks again, folks, for asking questions. This is RC62 out.